What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Johnny coming at you. Well, I've had a couple of requests to kind of show how I do my process for my TTMs. Everybody has their own way, and the cool thing about TTMing is there's no right or wrong way. Everybody has their own kind of style. Mine switches, mine's evolved. I'm learning as I go. I'm learning from you guys. But I'm going to kind of show my process and what I do um, to ensure, maybe the best possibility for a return. It does, you guys know, it does take time to do this. So, but when the returns come in, it makes it all worth it. So first thing you got to do, you have to be able to have some cards you want to send out. So first thing that I do is, of course, you guys have many ways to get your cards. Of course, you know that. But, if you decided to do this TTM thing, the first thing you need to do, honestly, I think, is to pick a good website. There's several websites out there. Everyone uses different websites. I started using sportscardforums.com when I first got into it. It's a free site. And it's a great site. But then I started getting into sportscardcollectors.net. And once I decided that, this is something I wanted to do and donate my time and my money to, I decided to do the $15 fee, which is an annual fee for sportscollectors.net. And what this does is it opens up the whole feature of, success rates, who's signing, private signings, forums, a whole bunch of great information. And it's basically, it's, if you're going to do some returns, you're going to make sure, or do some requests, you want to make sure that the percentage of you getting it back is pretty good. So the good websites that are updated daily help you to do that. So pick a good website, guys. All right, next thing you got to do is you got to pick your cards. So here's an example. You got to find Mr. Ed Winston. Whitson, actually, it's Whitson. I collect the 89 Fleer set. I also collect the 88 Donruss, and of course, if you follow my channel, I've been collecting the 88 Donruss orange border set. So, I usually try to send everybody at least 3 cards, unless if you have a good website, it will tell you. Because there's notes from other peoples that have done it. Of course, you guys, if you have a website, you know what I'm talking about. But some people have certain requests, 1 per, 2 per. I try to look down the list and see. If you do all this, you want to get as many cards signed as you can, but you don't want to piss anybody off. Excuse the language. So, anyways, I try to pick at least 3. These are the 3 we're going to go with. So what you have to do is to let the people know what you're doing. You want to write them a letter. Now, a letter, whatever, the purpose of a letter or a note, as I do, if depends who you're writing to, guys. If you have somebody that you really like or really follow, by all means, take the time, put it into a letter, let them know how much you mean to them. But for the normal run-of-the-mill player that you're just trying to get his autograph, I don't try to blow too much smoke up their pipe, if you know what I mean. I don't try to throw a lot of unnecessary praises their way. I do this, though. I do give them a greeting. I do let them know the intention of the note or a letter. I ask the question. If I try to ask a question, they don't always read the questions, but I try to get some information out of them. If it's, like I said, if it's a player let them know a memory or that you're a fan of theirs. And I always thank the person for their time, because they don't have to do this. They really don't. So I thank them for their time, and I always well wishes. Guys, you don't have to be a religious person. I'm a believer myself, so I always, I always ask God for prayers for them or blessings for them and their family. But I don't care if what religion you are. If you're asking me or blessing me or wishing me well wishes to me and my family, hey, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool in my book. Anyway, so here's an example. Dear Mr. Whitson, I trust that this note finds you well. I'm writing in hopes to get your autographs. for my personal collection. It could be for anything, but this one's going to be for my personal collection. This is kind of a generic note, if you will. I would love to know a catchers you really enjoyed playing with, question mark. Thank you for your time. Like I said, thank you for your time. May God bless you and your family. A fan, Johnny. And bada bing, bada boom. You know, a lot of these players don't have a lot of time, so you don't want to, you know, half the time they don't even read this much. So you don't want to don't feel like you have to write a whole letter worth, because most of them not going to read it, to be honest with you. Anyway, so short, sweet, to the point. Got to have a letter. You know what else you got to have? You got to have the address of the person you're sending, and that's where a good website comes in. Make sure, like you guys know, to put a return address, because if this doesn't work or something happens, post office has to know where to send it back to. So if you want your cards back, just in case, remember, make sure they can read the return address. As I say that, I can't even read my own writing, but you get the point. Okay, also, you got to have an envelope. I always make it smaller, the return envelope, because number one, it's easier to fit in here, if you know what I mean. You got to make sure you put a stamp on it. We've all forgot to put the stamp. Sometimes the players will put a stamp, and sometimes you'll never see it again. You got one job, guys, so don't forget the stamp. Really, the return option, the return address is an option. I sometimes don't do this, but like I said, if something happens here, they got to know where to send it back to you. Don't ever put the return address of the person you're sending. You know, leave it blank or your address, and make sure they can read your return address, because this is what's coming back to you. So the post office, make sure it gets back to you, especially the zip code. All right, so what I do basically is I take the cards. Ooh, that's great. I take the cards, I put my note on top. I always put an extra index card on the back for protection, and sometimes I end up using that card to answer the questions, and sometimes they autograph it for you. So I always send 2 index cards, and then make sure if there is a fee, I usually sometimes put that in, but anymore, guys, I never put protection on these cards. You know what I mean? Sometimes they come back good, sometimes they don't. If you have a special card, you know, you can use maybe one of kind of these soft cards, but never soft plastic mobiles, but never use a hard plastic. Sometimes players will just sign the plastic, and you want to make this as easy for the athlete or the signer as possible. You know what I'm saying? Make it easy. So there you go, guys. You're making the cards, you're putting them all on top here. You take your return envelope with your return address and stamp. I always fit it right in here so it kind of sits in. Then put it in. So guys, also, here's a tip. You know, an envelope is an envelope, but get the press and seals. Don't make the athletes put their tongues on stuff. Plus, all they got to do is bada bing, bada boom, and they can send it. So like I said, it's all about ease. So you're going to put this in, upside down, in the envelope. Boom. And that is ready to be put in your database, if it's written or on the computer, about who you sent, how many cards you sent, what date you sent. So when it comes back in, you can have some records. So guys, I hope that was kind of helpful about my process, kind of long and lengthy, but like I said, a couple of people requested, and I appreciate that. This is what I do as of now. It could change, but like I said, guys, no wrong or right reason. I hope this helped. Give a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Enjoy this TTM hobby. What an awesome hobby it is. Guys, can't wait to check that mailbox soon. Johnny out.